The year is 2007, and on the forum above top secret, a user uploads 3 videos of a fuzzy something on a screen. The author claims it to be filmed from the Navy, where the UFOs were outmaneuvering fighter jets off the coast of Mexico. As absurd as that is, he also claims to have stolen the footage, and now he uploaded it on this UFO forum. Now, if you go to the site today, it seems like every single person there had an alien abduction story or has seen something from the next world over. Now, in 2017, the New York Times had picked up the story and claimed that the videos presented in the 2007 forum were genuine. In 2020, the U.S. Department of Defense verified all of the videos' legitimacy, with one of them taking place in 2004 and the other 2 in 2015. Now, in June 26th of this year, the U.S. Department of Defense will have to tell the public what they believe all of the videos were. Whatever this thing was, we'll know soon. Now take a look for yourself.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing! It's rotating. Nickel 6-1 Tango Logic, over. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, look at it fly!
Apollo 13 was supposed to be the third manned mission to the moon. Unfortunately, due to an O2 tank explosion, they weren't able to make it to the moon, but that was the least of their concerns. As engine failure and an excess of carbon dioxide proved to be a legitimate threat to their lives, they were able to solve the carbon dioxide problem by making a filter out of duct tape and paper. Now, in order to get home, they used something known as the slingshot method, which essentially takes the gravity of the moon and uses it to turn the spaceship around and send it back on a course for Earth. If it hadn't been successful, they would have flown out into space and died. And thanks to a lot of manpower and a lot of skill by the pilots of Apollo 13, they were able to be returned home safely. On May 30th, 2020, SpaceX became the first private company to send 2 men to Earth orbit and had them join others in the International Space Station. As if this wasn't impressive enough, it is also the first launch on US soil in nearly a decade. Something else you may know with SpaceX is that their CEO is Elon Musk, someone famous for shitposting on Twitter and shooting a car into fucking space. Elon Musk also makes Teslas and is very famous for not giving a fuck about his stock price. Also famous for selling fucking flamethrowers to the public. He also smoked weed with Joe Rogan for shits and giggles. He's the closest thing we have to a real-life Iron Man, and if we have any hope of making it to Mars, we better put all our money into him. On June 30th, in 1908, Siberia was hit by a meteor. The explosion was so powerful, it estimated to cause enough damage as 3 to 30 megatons of TNT. An eyewitness report says, "The sky split into 2, and fire appeared high and wide over the forest. At that moment, I became so hot that I couldn't bear it, as if my shirt was on fire. I wanted to tear off my shirt and throw it down, then the sky shut closed. A strong thump sounded, and I was thrown a few meters." An estimated 80 million trees had died. If we put the destructive range of this asteroid over New York City, its destructive power becomes even more apparent.
And back to Senator Cruz's question, had that occurred over 20,000 feet over New York City, other than blowing out windows, what would have happened?
This one is a little bit harder to say. The one that over Tunguska, the one that was slightly larger, and the ones that I've been talking about, had that happened over a city, let's say New York City, we would have 7 million casualties. At least, whatever the population in New York City is, they would be gone.
Really?
On August 15th, 1977, the very famous WOW signal was first received. This was the first time we ever heard sound coming from space, and we still don't know where it came from. And while no one knows what it is and why we can never replicate it, theories range from an anomaly to an asteroid hitting another planet to, of course, aliens. While no one knows what it was, we certainly know that it was something. This is perhaps a mystery that will never get answered. When thinking of a star, one would probably think of the sun or another very bright, extremely hot object. Well, the star known as WISE 1828 plus 2650 is clearly the exception to that rule. It's known as a brown dwarf star. Its temperature ranges from minus 9 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 261 degrees Fahrenheit. The star is the coldest star on record when you compare it to our sun's average temperature of 9,941 degrees Fahrenheit. A difference of almost 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit is quite noticeable. We all know Neil Armstrong's first words on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful from here, Neil. It had the start.
But what exactly were the final words spoken on the moon? Well, Gene Cernan said this.
Houston, before we close out our EVA, probably one of the most significant things we can think about when we think about Apollo is that it has opened for us being the world, a challenge of the future. The door is now cracked, but the promise of that future lies in the young people, not just in America, but the young people all over the world, learning to live and learning to work together. In order to remind all the peoples of the world, in so many countries throughout the world, that this is what we all are striving for in the future. America's challenge of today has forged man's destiny of tomorrow.
Speed of light is ridiculously fast. It is actually, as a matter of fact, this fast. Now, that may be very hard to rationalize, so I'm going to try and explain it in better terms. Going at the speed of light, you could get to the moon in 1.3 seconds. It would take about 8 minutes to reach the sun, and about 13 minutes to reach Mars. And finally, I'd like to talk about Voyager 1. On September 5th, 1977, the United States and NASA launched Voyager 1. It serves as an attempt to make first contact with an extraterrestrial species. It acts as something of, hello, we exist. This is who we are, and this is what represents us. On Voyager 1, there is a message from former President Jimmy Carter. It reads, "This is a present from a small, distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations. This record represents our hope and our determination and our goodwill in a vast and awesome universe. What you're seeing now is what we put on Voyager 1 if anyone ever catches it. This isn't everything, but this is some of what the golden record has.